Okay guys, I'm going to make a video here on how to put a tire on a spoke rim, 14-inch spoke rim for an MGB. This seems to work for me. I welcome any comments because I didn't see any videos on this, so I did the other tires and it got easier over time, so maybe it's this is going to be helpful for you guys. So first I take my rim. I had taken the tire off using this same tool from Harbor Freight, and I gave this rim a quick degrease, pressure wash, and then a coat of paint. So this Harbor Freight tire installer has a little stay pin there, so I pull that up so it fits inside some of the spokes. I'm not able to get the wheel entirely centered, but it seems to work good enough by getting it in that spoke. There is a rubber gasket that goes underneath the rim here, so that helps protect the rim. Then there's a collar flange, which seems to go wheel side down. That's what works for me. I didn't read the instructions. And then there's a holder that goes on top of that. Now I did find the need to get this pretty tight to hold the rim. Now I'm going to go over what I purchased. I purchased these inner tubes. They're the 14D Michelin, made in Serbia. I purchased these from Longs Tire, in England, and so those are the rims that I'm using. And the tires are made in Holland. They're this brand that begins with a V. I'm not going to even try, but they're a 165 R14. This is the original 14-inch rims. And then what you want to do too, because there are these nipples from the spokes that you don't want to hit the inner tube, you're going to put one of these rim bands. I also got these from Longs Tires. Actually, sorry, it's Longstone Tires in UK. So you want to get this rim band, and these say that they're for 15, 16, but they work really well for this. You want to get these over the spoke heads in the center of the rim. The inner tubes don't actually touch this upper ones because the inside bead of the tires in there. And then you want to pull this rubber band down a little bit where the inner tube valve comes out. So after you get that on, make sure this is nice and tight. You're going to want to get the tire on, and I'm going to put this duck head on first. So I purchased this duck head. You can find these videos to these online. It seems to work pretty well. You center this bottom. There's a couple different designs of these, but I actually like this one. It seems to be working quite well with the rim that goes underneath. So you want to get that rim underneath, kind of centered. Make sure it's going to spin. Tighten that up. And make sure that it's going to spin around. So that actually did not want to spin around. It didn't want to spin around, so I loosened it and reset it. Now when you're putting a tire on, you want the tire under the front, because you're going always counterclockwise. Whether you're putting the tire on or off, you want to go counterclockwise. So when you're putting the tire on, you're going to go over the front and under this back, which I think this is what people call the duck head. It's the opposite when you're taking the tire off. When you're taking the tire off, you want the tire under this front part and over the duck head. And you can use this duck head to pry it in. Taking the tire off was probably more challenging than I found putting them on. So the other thing I'm doing is putting some tire soap on here. I found I didn't need too much. You could probably get away without it. I'm using this Murphy's because it's supposed to work okay with conventional rubber, and I don't know exactly how these inner tubes are made up, but of course I don't want to I do not want them to break down over time. So I know people have fancy brushes, but like I said, and I've seen people goof this stuff on. I actually found I didn't need too much. Okay, so these tires can go any direction. I'm gonna put it on, and like I said, to get these tires on, you want to get the front over the top of the front, and the back underneath the duck head. I also seen people put this bar in between. I've just been putting it right. I've just been putting it right in the hole on the bar. So that's that. The next step is to put the inner tube in. So to put the inner tube in, you want to put a little bit of air in there, very little. If you put too much, it's going to be just make life more difficult. So I don't even have 1 psi in there. And what you want to do is line the valve stem up with the hole, and go ahead and tuck this in just like you would in a bicycle, but you do not want this creased. So any creases that you're putting in there, you got to make sure they come out once it goes in the tire. Now, this duck head's a little bit in the way, so what I want to do, it's in the way where I'm putting in the inner tube, so I want to swivel it around, get it out of the way, so I can put the rest of the inner tube in. Now, having a little bit of air in that inner tube is, of course, allowing me to get it in there without having creases. Once I get it inside the tire, around the rim, that air pushes the creases out. Now I'm grabbing the inner tube here, it twisted a little bit away from the hole for the valve stem. So I'm just twisting it back. I'm gonna reach down there, and of course we have to get the valve stem through the hole in the rim. Okay, so I just kind of reached down there. I don't have any special tools. Maybe there are some special tools, I don't know. But that can work its way in later. But now it's there. Hopefully, you know, that'll stay in place. So now the trick is, again, get the rear of the tire below the duck head and get the front, because we're going counterclockwise, above. So one thing that I found was worth the money was this little thing that holds the bead under the rim just to get it started. So easy as that. I haven't used much pressure. I haven't used the extension bar to get more torque. And I'm just making sure, you know, everything's lined up, and I'm going to spin it around, and in a minute I'll need the bar, because of course it's going to get a bit trickier. I'm going to come around and it pops on. Take this bead holder off. So now my tire's on, my inner tube's in. I don't need the duck head anymore. Before I fill up the tube, I'm going to wipe off a little bit of this tire soap. Again, I don't know whether you're supposed to wipe all that off or whether you can leave it on. It's somebody can probably leave that in the comments. But now I want to just fill up the air here in the tire. So in the inner tube. So this is the part, you know, I didn't see any videos where people were putting this inner tube in. There's quite a few really helpful, great videos of people using the Harbor Freight tire mount tool, but not with a spoke rim and not with inner tube. So it does work. These are 14-inch. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work for 15-inch. And then something else that I did was these tires for the MGB need to be up at about, you know, somewhere around 30 psi, give or take. You guys can comment. I mean, these are radials, but to get these seated, I can go ahead and found that I should take these up to about 40 and then back off. So I'm at 37, and I did not hear the beat pop on these, but I'm certain that these inner tubes are centered and have seated this tire properly. You guys can comment if I'm supposed to hear the pop. Let me know before I drive too far. So right now, I'm at 29. So I'm gonna just go ahead and leave that for now until I balance this. So I did buy the bubble balancer from Harbor Freight, and just make sure it's on level ground. It seems to be very easy to center these 14-inch rims on the Harbor Freight bubble balancer. And once you get on a level surface, you can, put the wheel on there pretty easily and see where the weight needs to be added. On the bubble balancer, I don't think I'll make another video, but I think anybody can do it. But when you're on the bubble balancer and you see the bubble, before you attach the weight, just go ahead, place it on the rim so that you can see if the weight takes the bubble to the center. Anyway, guys, hope this is helpful. Please comment. I'm not sure if this is the right way. I've never had any training. I've watched a couple of videos of people doing it on non-wire rims without inner tubes, and I had a little bit of trial and error with this, but I was able to do all 4 tires in one day in terms of putting them on. Of course, I took a little bit longer because I did some rust treatment and some painting. All right, thank you guys. Good luck.